Welcome back to Crypto Atlas, your daily source for crypto whale alerts, crypto market news, and DeFi gems. All right, guys, buckle up because today we've got some massive Bitcoin whale movements, political tension brewing in the US, a shock liquidity injection from the Fed, and a few headlines that could make or break short-term market sentiment. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So Bitcoin whales, they've been busy, not just with the usual exchange shuffle. We're seeing billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin moving between unknown wallets, with a few key transfers that hint at accumulation, reshuffling, or quiet institutional positioning. And meanwhile, the US Supreme Court is making a decision that could rock global markets, and the Fed's overnight repo injection just reignited fears of another quantitative easing cycle. So, yeah, the whales aren't swimming around randomly here. They're sensing something. So let's go ahead and dive right into the blockchain. So starting this off with the first whale alert, this is 1,770 Bitcoin worth approximately $184 million. And that was transferred from an unknown wallet to another unknown wallet. Then you have 2,751 Bitcoin, about $287 million. Again, unknown to unknown wallet. 1,498 Bitcoin, about $156 million. From Coinbase Institutional to a brand new wallet. 2005 Bitcoin, or $209 million, from unknown to unknown wallet. And then we have 1,893 Bitcoin, about $190 million. Same pattern, unknown to unknown. This is all within hours of each other. That's roughly $1 billion in Bitcoin moving off the radar in a single day. Now keep in mind, there were even more of these whale alerts that came in. These are just the biggest ones that I found. So all in all, it's definitely more than a lot. It's a lot more than $1 billion. Let's just put it that way. Now, what makes this really interesting is this one right here, the Coinbase institutional transfer. Whenever we see Bitcoin leaving an exchange, especially an institutional one, it's usually a bullish signal. It means large clients might be self-custodying, or they might be preparing for long-term holds rather than selling. But when you combine that with several other massive unknown to unknown transfers, well, that suggests a whale coordination phase, either over-the-counter settlement, internal reorganization, or even stealth accumulation by funds that don't want to show their hand publicly yet. So we're going to tie this all together in just a moment. I want to let you guys know there's a crypto exchange called BTCC. I do have a referral link down in the description below. You can also pause the video here if you want to read up a little bit more on it, but it's been around for 13 years. You get a massive amount of leverage. You get a sign-up bonus if you use my referral link. You guys can check that out. All right. And in addition to that, you can also find me on Telegram. So if you want to stay updated, you can join me over there. Same thing, that's in the description. Okay, so let's go ahead and tie this together with the political side. According to Crypto Rover, the Supreme Court is deciding today whether Trump's tariffs were legal. And that's no small headline. If those tariffs get upheld, markets could see instant volatility, inflation fears, currency swings, and renewed pressure on risk assets. So it's not surprising that smart money might be repositioning right before that announcement. Bitcoin is the perfect hedge when uncertainty spikes. The whales could be preparing for a short-term dip in equities, or even betting on a breakout if volatility drives investors back into hard assets like Bitcoin. And then came a huge bombshell tweet. The Fed just injected $29.4 billion into the banking system. That is overnight repo, and that is the biggest that we've seen since 2020. That's from Chad Steingraber quoting Quinton. And guys, that's not just a line in a chart. In 2019, this exact scenario triggered massive liquidity support, followed by a $6 trillion quantitative easing program. So, what does that tell us? that the Fed might quietly be propping up liquidity again, even as they claim to be fighting inflation. And if history repeats, liquidity flows straight into risk assets. Now, combine that with whales moving Bitcoin off exchanges, that's not panic. That's positioning for the next wave. They're saying, we know liquidity is coming and Bitcoin's going to be the beneficiary. But there's another layer. Bitcoin Archive dropped a Bloomberg stat that long-term holders have sold 400,000 Bitcoin. That's $45 billion this past month. And yet Bitcoin is still above $100,000. That's wild. Normally that kind of sell pressure would tank the market. The fact that it didn't means new demand absorbed the dump. So here's what might be happening. Early whales are taking profits, locking in gains from the parabolic run, and rotating funds into fresh, cold wallets or over-the-counter settlements for re-entry. Remember, just because a wallet sells doesn't mean that money leaves crypto. It might be moving into new structures, new vehicles, or even derivative plays anticipating a higher high. And meanwhile, on the macro front, the ADP non-farm employment report came in stronger than expected. 42,000 versus 32,000. A beat like that means the labor market's holding up, but it also means the Fed has more room to not cut rates. Normally that's bearish, but in a liquidity injected environment, it could actually be bullish for Bitcoin since people see it as resilience rather than tightening. And then you can't make this up. Nobler tweets that an insider with a 100% win rate just opened massive longs ahead of Trump's speech today. 20 out of 20 perfect trades. $25 million in profit. That's either the luckiest trader alive or someone who knows something big is coming. If this is true, then long positioning could align with exactly what we're seeing in the whale data. Quiet accumulation before a catalyst. Okay, so what do we have? 1 billion plus in Bitcoin that quietly moved off exchanges. Supreme Court tariff ruling incoming, likely volatility event, and Fed repo injection hinting at early stage quantitative easing. Long-term holders cashing out, but price stability holding firm. Insiders and whales going long ahead of major political and economic news. Everything points to one narrative. A storm's coming. The whales are already swimming with the current. They're either front-running policy shifts, positioning for liquidity flows, or setting up accumulation zones before Bitcoin's next move. Historically, these setups, unknown wallets, repo spikes, and political shakeups have been the perfect cocktail for major market reversals. So Bitcoin, 2 days red, currently seeing it here a little bit in the green. It did have a further drop that took place, dropping down below $100,000, but then coming back up. So how things will continue to play out, we'll see. Ripple for XRP, they've got some crazy things going on with their event, big announcements that took place, lots of money moving around there. So that could also have an impact on altcoins or potentially even rolling back over to Bitcoin. People are getting more bullish overall in the adoption of crypto. Let me know what you guys think about all this. Share your thoughts with us down in the comments below. And you can also find me over on Blue Sky. I've got my link down in the description. And thank you so much to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. God bless. We'll see you guys in the next episode.